Probably need to be at the cigar place with him.
I know that will be next time. All right,
Hey,
guys.
whenever you want. I'm in Dayland. You let me know.
Take you up on that offer. Watch out.
All right, guys. So happy whatever day it is. I think it's Thursday. So awesome that you guys are here. Chillin' Jules, dropping with Jules, whatever we're calling it at this time. So I had an idea where I wanted to provide back more to our community. We do the meetups once a month, but I thought that that's just not enough. We connect and we get everybody's phone numbers, but there's not much time to provide value. So what I'm decided to do is host a Zoom once a week, um, depending on my travel schedule or whoever else wants to run it, so that we can have expertise in from our community, providing us with knowledge and just sharing to our community and just delving more into what they can provide for our community. On the group, we have a mix of people from Florida. I don't know, we're gonna have a mix of people from Georgia, I think, is on here. So I am just so thankful and so blessed to be in your presence here today, and hoping to kick something off that we can continue to share with our community and just learn from each other. Exactly what Pace wants to do, just us learning and growing the community. So I thank you all for being here. So without further ado, our guest today is Jose Gonzalez. We met at a meetup, and he's here to provide his expert knowledge on lending, personal and business
Unlock me,
lending,
Trace.
and also on getting access to capital, which everybody needs. So I thought this would be really, really good for us because we all need funding. So without further ado, let me introduce Jose. Jose, all you, buddy, and the cigar bar. So let's go.
Thank you, thank you. First and foremost, Julie, thank you so much for having me on here, guys. Pleasure being
Yes.
in your presence here. I'm honored. Amazing what you're doing. I'm very big on giving value back too. I think we should all help each other. We all started somewhere. At one point, none of
Amen.
us knew anything, so we got to pay it forward. And every level that you get to, you learn more from the next, big dog, if you would, or whatnot. But I'm glad I'm here, able to help out. I guess my first, just quick question, if you can drop it in the chat, there is what exact industry are you in real estate? Like, what's your goal within real estate? Just so I can have a general idea of who I have here. Raising capital. Oh yeah, you know how to raise capital. You can make a lot of deals happen.
That's right.
Any wholesalers, fix and flip, people looking to build a portfolio,
Just
real
me.
estate
I'm the
agents,
multifamily.
multifamily, Fatima. Yeah, there it
You,
is.
you
That's where
got
the money's
you
at.
got me as one that's looking to do a multi or looking into multifamily and raising capital, and that's kind of my gig there. That's actually my niche, if you will.
Mm.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. Okay, multifamily, fix and flip, build portfolio, fix and flip. Okay, cool. All right, man. That's the first time. There's usually a bunch of wholesalers. Well, the
Price.
portfolio just
It's
starting,
it's
co-living.
still new, so maybe I mean it's still early.
Yeah, buy and hold. Okay, awesome. So now I have a general idea. Let me give you guys a quick introduction on who I am, because I'm sure you're sitting here wondering, all right, who's this guy talking to me? So my name's Jose Gonzalez. I was born and raised here in Miami, Florida. I was actually previously, before getting into entrepreneurship, investing into finance, anything like that, I was a firefighter. I was a firefighter for the city of Miami for 3 years and for Miami-Dade County for 3 years. And I was just chasing adrenaline in that aspect and trying to help others in that aspect. And then I had two lovely kids and a wife, and I said, you know what? I want to build an amazing future for these two little guys and my family. And I decided to get into entrepreneurship, business, and invest. So, long story short, now I chase adrenaline through scary deals and fulfillment through helping others. Okay. Some of the things that
Good.
I want to talk about today is going to be not really goal setting, but at least helping people understand that you need to have a legitimate and clear goal to know what you're even trying to accomplish in this game, right? Secondary to that, I want to talk to you about the steps to actually get to your goal and then the thing you're going to be missing to get there. So, one of the examples that I can give is my own example. When I first got into real estate, I did what everyone does. I got my real estate license, took the test, I passed, and I said, all right, perfect. That's it. I'm rich. Now what? No. It doesn't work that way. All right. So I got my license and I realized, wow, I have a lot to
Track
learn.
me, Tiny.
Uh, yeah,
Track me,
yeah.
Tiny.
Look, what was that? I'm sorry. Yeah. So luckily, I ran into Pace Morby on Instagram, YouTube. I got into the sub two community, and obviously that helped me out tremendously in my journey. I started off wholesaling, and then I said I was going to do fix and flip, and then I said, yeah, but my goal is I want to have a massive multifamily portfolio, but I never had a real goal, like a real set of steps to take action toward. So one of the biggest things that helped me out is defining exactly what I wanted to do because there's certain things that you don't have to go through to get there. If you want to build a massive wholesale team, then do wholesale, right? If you want to do fix and flip, then start talking to hard money lenders, start learning how to raise capital, start learning how to underwrite comps, get connections with contractors, and do fix and flip. If you want to buy a portfolio, same thing, except for you're not fixing and flipping, you're holding, right? But you don't have to go through all the steps. It's not like a rite of passage. Okay. A lot of people were doing wholesale just to get money to do fix and flip. Is there anybody in this chat that thought about doing wholesale to gain money to do their first fix and flip? Just drop a one if that's you,
Yes.
or raise your hand. Yeah, that was me. That was me. I genuinely did not like wholesaling. One of my very close friends loves it. To each his own, right? Um, but then I discovered what I really needed was to find out not what, but who, right? Not what do I need, but who do I need? So where do I get the money? What I really wanted was money, so I need to find out who has it. So I ran into an old friend of mine. His name was Christian Paz. He's actually the owner of the company, Secured Funding Group, which I work for. And he helped me get access to business funds that I was then able to use to invest in real estate. All I needed was a personal credit score, and I got access to $134,000 at 0%. Okay. I'm going to get into that a little later, but that's what I do now. I help others get access to capital
Hmm.
to start their business or invest in real estate instead of having to go through all the hurdles previously. All right. So I ended up getting access to the capital. I ended up starting looking for deals on fix and flip. I had the money sitting around. I actually ended up investing into another private equity investment opportunity. It was an e-commerce fund. I never actually invested into the real estate itself. I had the money and the opportunity presented itself. So once you have the money, your mindset will change because now you know you have access to do whatever it is that you truly want to do. I didn't truly want to wholesale. I did it for a year. I was grateful that I went through it because one thing that I did get from it is I learned tremendously how to talk to sellers, where to find deals, how to underwrite, how to look through public record and how to look at pre-foreclosures and probate. And if these words are confusing you, if you haven't been, in that game, it's all stuff that you need to know if you want to be successful in wholesale real estate. Okay. Now, the next thing that what I want to talk about is if you think you're clear on your goal, on what you really want to accomplish, and if you're currently working towards that goal. Okay. So you don't have to answer me there, but just something to think about. Man, I've been wholesaling because I want money, but I haven't even done my first fix and flip. Maybe I'm working towards the one thing, or I'm doing a bunch of fix and flip because I want to buy the properties. So maybe learn how to raise capital or get investors to work with you to buy these buy and holds. How do I do that? I need to know what a good deal is. Let me look for good deals and learn. So you can start skipping through the steps you don't have to take. Okay. Now, lastly, I want to talk about the main problem that most business owners and investors have, at least when they're starting off, and it's capital. How many of you, I mean, maybe you don't want to answer, but I don't know too many people that just have $100,000 sitting around, right? Yeah, some people have it in their 401k, some people maybe have a really strong W-2, but the average investor does not have $100,000 sitting around. And in Miami, Florida, you're going to need about that to get into any deal.
Mhm.
Okay, at least a down payment. The average fix and flip in Miami, you're looking at $400,000 to $500,000. Okay, and that's if you're buying in West Little River, then maybe 250, 300,000 just to get into the deal. Okay, so I'm going to talk about what banks are looking for to get access to funds and what kind of funds are out there. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm going to start at the bare minimum. In fact, I'm actually going to talk about what it is that we do within our company. Okay, the types of funds that we do. So there's personal term loans. That's a personal loan. There's personal credit cards. Then on the business side, there's business credit cards, business lines of credit, business loans, like a standard loan from, let's say, Chase. There's SBA loans, and then you can get hard money, private money, DSCR, and ground up construction. Those last four qualify almost the same way. Okay. I'm going to tell you what it entails to get access to those kind of funds. All right. So on the personal loan, you're going to need to have a W-2 showing that you're making X amount of money per approval. So if you want a $30,000 loan, I mean, you're going to have to at least be making 50 or 60 grand, okay, through your W-2 or bank statements proving that. For credit cards, all you're going to need is a decent personal credit score. Usually above 680 does the trick, okay? On the business side, contrary to common belief, you don't need to have 2 years worth of age. You don't need 2 years worth of bank statements, and you don't need to have a profitable company just yet. One of the easiest ways to get access to capital on the business side, and the only way to get it at 0%, is through revolving lines of business credit. That's a fancy name for business credit cards, okay? Except when you're in your business, you're not talking about a $2,000, $3,000 credit card. You're talking about 30, 40, sometimes even $50,000 per credit card at 0% interest for 12 to 18 months, okay? After that, you go to lines of credit, standard loans, where you will need 2 years of tax returns, bank statements, and age. Okay, SBA as well. And then when you move over to the real estate financing, for example, private money and hard money, do you guys know the difference between private money and hard money? Or do you even know what either of them are? Does anyone have a question on that really quick before I continue?
Why don't you tell us for those that...
Okay, yeah, actually, even better. So private money essentially is, let's say John Doe has $3 million of his own capital and he wants to start lending it usually on real estate deals. Okay. He's going to literally out of his pocket wire you $500,000 after he has assessed whatever deal you have and he sees that he's going to get a safe return on it. They usually charge anywhere from 10 to 12% interest and 2 to 2.5 points to get access to that capital. 2.5 points is just a percentage of what your loan is. So on $100,000, 2 points is 2 grand. Okay. On top of that, depending on your experience and the deal, they're going to want to have either a 10% down payment or a 20% down payment of what you're asking for. Okay. Hard money is the exact same thing, except it's coming from institutions. So it's not just John Doe. It's now a bunch of John Does being managed by a company lending money. Okay. DSCR is debt conversion service ratio. Okay. That's a loan usually for rental properties. So debt conversion, meaning the debt that you owe, what's the service ratio? So if my mortgage is $2,000 and I know I can rent it for $3,000, you divide 2,000 by 3,000 and you get your conversion ratio. I think that's like 1.5.
1.5, I believe.
Yeah, I would have to do the math. That's usually what lenders are looking for. They want to see at least a 1.5 DSCR. Okay, those are really useful for rental property because if you get a good deal, you don't need to qualify your personal finances for that. The property itself will qualify you for that. Okay. Now, how do we start? How do we get access to the business capital at 0%? That would be through nothing but personal credit, meaning the average Joe, for the most part, can get started and get access to capital to start their real estate career. I'll give you an example of how it's used. For the most part, most of my clients are real estate investors. Okay. So they'll actually tie in the hard money loan, let's say for $300,000, and utilize the business credit, let's say another $100,000, into one deal. You lower your overall cost in that deal because $100,000 of that is at 0% interest. That's usually used for materials. Instead of going to Home Depot and using a Home Depot business credit card, you use your business credit card. On top of that, you're getting 1.5% cash back on everything that you use. Let's say the labor, when the contractors come and they send you an invoice, most people pay with their checking account. Well, why not just use a credit card to send you an invoice? You're also getting cashback bonuses on that, and you're staying cash flow. You're not emptying out your bank account. You're using your lines of credit. Okay. Thirdly, some people will actually liquidate this. DSCR now 1% ratio will work. Yeah, that's true. Depending on the lender, they're lending a little more now. And some people will actually liquidate these credit cards to cash. It's a little more complex to do that, but some people have done that to liquidate $50,000, $75,000 and use it as a down payment to get into their first deal. Okay. On the wholesale side, some people actually use it as their earnest money deposits so they can lock in deals. Some people have used it to take out money and do Gator lending. I think Edwin is a Gator lender, right? There he is. There he is. Yeah, keep it quiet. Keep it quiet. So there's
Innocence
many,
of
many
proven guilty, my
ways.
friend.
Yeah, yeah. So there are many different ways to utilize this. People, think, oh, it's a business credit card, and I can't. How am I going to use it? There's many, many ways that you can utilize this, and many investors are utilizing this. In fact, if you go to Julian Yana's next meetup, I think it's on the 30th. A good friend of mine, Ryan Valle, is going to be there speaking about wholesale, and he's actually the one that initially gave me the idea to do this because he was doing it on his own. He did it before it was even a thing. He's like, "Yeah, what do you mean? I use all my lines of credit at 0% for all my fix and flips." So he'll give you a little breakdown on that as well. Does anyone have any questions so far? Because I know a lot about this and I'm speaking really fast. I don't want to lose anybody.
Jose, one of the things that I run into a lot is you've got a lot of probably some of our guests that's here on here with us today that they run into. They want to invest, whether it's multifamily, single family, fix and flips, and so on and so forth, right? And they come with zero background, right? They've
Hmm.
got they've got enough money just to either go afloat or to get them by in case of an emergency, and they like to know their best um, outcome possible, right? Where they can just get up and go. I mean, a lot of us, including myself, because that's how I started. A lot of us, we started from a W-2 and walked into Pace per se. Let's just use Pace out here, right? Yeah, exactly. We just came up from a W-2 and just walked into Pace, and we're started from nowhere. So, on behalf of, I don't know if this applies to anybody there, but from some of the folks that I run into, what would you recommend moving forward, knowing that um, a lot of the information you just gave us, where you can use some of your credit cards to get you started. If you have a business, you can get yourself a line of business. What would you recommend the best way possible to get up and going? Because obviously, network is like, well, actually, deal is the first one, obviously,
Yep.
and then,
Yep.
network and confidence along the way.
So two things on that, and it's funny that you say, well, I mean, it goes vice versa, but a lot of people say find the deal and the money will come. That's true if you have the right network. I mean, but you did
Exactly.
mention networks. But if you're just starting and you don't have the network yet, it's better to build that financial foundation so you can be ready for that deal. I'm getting a big echo here, Julie. I don't know what happened there.
Okay, go ahead and talk. We'll see
I
what
think it got
happens.
better. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Because sometimes you get that deal, you don't have the network, and if you've been in the real estate game, you already know if you don't close this in a week or at least tie it up, it's gone. Especially if it's a good deal. So you want to be ready. As far as just getting started, you said personal or business, and I'll break down exactly why right now. Excellent question, by the way, Edwin. Um,
Thank you.
I would do everything on the business, and I'm going to explain to you just why. I'm actually going to get a little into the nitty gritty on the credit side on what's needed to get access to these funds. As I talked about all the forms. All right, cool. Now, how do you get it? I just show up to the bank and ask for $50,000? No,
Right,
I
that's not
wish,
gonna
I wish, I wish it was that easy. In fact, it took me 2 years in the industry learning from somebody who's been in the game for the better half of a decade. Okay, and he's learned the hard way. Luckily, I bought time through his experience. But you ideally, if I could stay away with it, unless if you absolutely have to, I would do nothing with my personal credit. And I'm going to explain to you guys and Edwin why. Your personal credit is the main pipeline to getting access to capital anywhere else because it's the first thing that they look at. If you tie up your personal credit cards, and I'll give you the parameters now, but if you tie up your personal credit cards or personal loans with too much debt, you're not going to get access to capital. Okay. Banks want to see less than 30% overall utilization within all accounts. Okay. So you cannot
right.
be having credit cards stacked or personal loans owed. They're not going to give you credit. Okay. So I never tie up my personal credit. All my personal credit cards have very high limits, but they're used maybe $100 just so that I can keep the accounts open. Okay.
Exactly.
I try and do everything on my business credit. All right. I can tie up. I have an LLC right now. I have multiple LLCs. I have an LLC tied up right now with probably 140 grand of good debt. I call it good debt because it's making income, but it's absolutely tied up. I can go to another LLC and get access to more capital. Why? Because my personal credits, I got a 790 and I have no debt. Okay. Now that we're on this topic, I'm going to give you guys a quick breakdown on what the banks, what the banks are looking for exactly within your credit, and something that we do prior to helping our clients get access to capital. Okay. I call it credit optimization, credit building, whatever you want to call it. The first things that the banks are going to be looking for in your personal credit are going to be payment history. This is absolutely crucial to getting access to capital. Okay. It's the number one thing that stop people from getting access to capital. That means no late payments. Okay. You cannot have any late payments. Secondary to that, an immediate red flag is going to be derogatory marks. A derogatory mark essentially is like a red flag on your account. It's almost like let me see. That's like a ticket. Like if you have a ticket on your driving records, okay, your insurance is going to go up. You know what I'm saying? So what are derogatory marks would be considered? A late payment is considered a derogatory. Collections, charge-offs, repo, bankruptcy, any public record will be considered derogatory, and that's not good. We don't want to have that on the account. We won't be able to help you to get access to capital. Okay. Third thing they're looking at, which is now one of the ones that we can fix and mitigate, is going to be your overall debt, your credit card utilization. There's going to be two things that they're looking at here. They want to see your overall limits between all accounts, and they want to see how much of that limit you've used for two reasons. The more they have given you in the past, the more likely they are to trust you to give you that amount or more. So if you have an overall credit limit of 30 to 40,000, they're probably going to give you about 40 or more in your business, because if you take
He froze, I think.
Did he freeze?
Looks like it. Yeah. Texting him right now. You there? See, that's what he
There he
gets.
is.
That's cigar bar.
That's that
can you guys
cigar
hear me?
bar.
We hear you now. Yeah, you're fine. So
Let me see
you
the
were at
Wi-Fi here.
you were at
We
the
weren't
overall
talking
limits.
about you, so don't worry about it.
Nah, you're good. You're good. Where did you guys last hear off?
You were talking about the overall limits on the account.
Okay, so yeah, so overall credit limit, is that where I last left off? Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, you were at the, what the banks are looking for, what you guys do to help people with, or what they look as far as their overall credit, the amount they have, and their
Perfect.
utilization.
Perfect. Correct. So then overall credit limit, because they want to know how much other banks have trusted you with capital. So if they lent you 40,000 overall between credit cards on your personal credit, very likely that in your business, they're going to give you the same or more, because you're investing in your business. I mean, you started an LLC. It's not unless if you signed a non-for-profit, I mean, your goal is to make more money, right? So they're trusting you on that end. Now, the second thing they want to see is, okay, they lent John Doe 40,000. How much of that does John owe? Hey, Joe, or John, you already owe 30 out of 40. Why don't you pay that back first and then we'll talk? That's where the utilization comes in. Okay. What is the number, the magic number? You want to have less than 30% overall utilization in each individual account. That's the magic number. The less you have, the better. But as long as you're under 30, you're in a higher lending bracket. Okay. The next thing that they're going to be looking at is going to be your overall credit age. And people get that confused. I used to get it confused myself, because they say, well, when I was 19, I opened my first credit card and I've got 10 years worth of age. Okay, what about the other 7 credit cards that you opened last year? It's an average. So it's going to be an average age of your credit cards. Ideally, you want to have more than 2 years of average age to be qualified to be put into that higher lending bracket. Okay. Second to lastly, they're going to be looking at your credit diversity. So they want to see, hey, do you own a house? Do you own a car? Personal loans? How have you been behaving with different forms of credit? Okay, so they're going to look at overall accounts. That one's not a big factor, but it does help. Okay. Lastly, they're going to be looking at hard inquiries. Hard inquiries, you want to have less than 3 in the last 6 months. Specifically with Chase, you don't want to have more than 5 in the last 2 years. They have a 524 rule that if you do not meet, they will automatically not approve you, even if you have great credit. Okay. That's what the banks are looking for in order to get funded. And that's how we qualify our clients in order to actually get access to capital. So we want to make sure we can actually help you before we even try and get you access to capital. Okay.
What was that number for the hard inquiries? You said less than 3 in how long?
You want to have less than 3 hard inquiries in the last 6 months.
Thank you.
I've been putting
Okay.
some notes in the chat, guys. So if you can just copy, it. Jose, can you recap? I know we're going back a little bit, not to throw you off, but somebody was asking if you can recap the DSCR and hard money when you started. Like,
Yeah. Okay. So I'll do, yeah, private money, hard money, essentially the same thing. Private money comes from one person, essentially, normally. Hard money comes from institutions. Now, this money is going to be, let me get into it with that. Then it's going to be essentially, this is the capital that you need to do fix and flips, essentially, because you're not going to be, this doesn't have to be approved upon appraisal. A lot of fix and flip properties will not be appraised because they're not livable. So that a standard loan and bank will not give you money for it. So where do you have to go? You got to look elsewhere for capital. That's where this hard money comes from. And it's essentially treated as cash. Okay. That's why they say, hey, what's your cash offer? Because it's essentially treated like cash. It's a shorter term loan, usually 6 months. I think the longest sometimes they do is 2 years. And the interest rate is anywhere from 10. It actually can go as far as 15%. The standard is 10 to 12. Okay. On those, they charge points, which is a percentage of the total loan you get, anywhere from 1 to 3 points, depending on the deal. And usually anywhere from 10 to I've seen as far as 50% down payment. Standard is 10 to 20. Okay. DSCR essentially is used more. It's a little closer to a conventional loan because you're getting longer terms, but it's closer to a conventional because they're giving you this loan based off of the property itself. So this property will appraise. It has to be livable. What they are looking for is proof that the property you want to buy will rent for more than what you owe the bank on a monthly basis. So if your rent is $2,000, I'm sorry, if your mortgage, your PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, your mortgage is $2,000, then your rent has to at least be, in the case somebody just said that they'll actually lend a 1-0 ratio, which is really good. Then you can actually, if you're renting for $2,000 and you're paying $2,000, they might even finance you that. They're probably going to want a higher down payment, more collateral, and they're probably going to charge you more interest. But the better the DSCR, meaning the more rent you're getting compared to your mortgage, the better the terms are going to be. Okay.
And a lot of times what happens with that is that the more doors you have, the better you qualify for a DSCR.
1000%. As well as fix and flip. Like I know us personally through our family office on fix and flip, if you've done 3 fix and flips in the last 3 years, which if you're an active fix and flipper, I mean, that's not a lot. We actually do terms of 90-10 LTV, which is loan to value ratio. That just means you have to put a 10% down payment. We usually do 1.5 to 2 points, which is on the cheaper side. And we do anywhere from 10 to 11% on that hard money. The biggest takeaway from this is that we actually don't ask for any interest payments until the deal is done. If you've ever done fix and flip, you know it's hard to stay cash flow doing the project and paying thousands of dollars in interest while you're doing that fix and flip. So being able to pay it with the profits of the deal is massive.
Okay. So Jose, let me ask you something. Since we were on the trying to move you a little bit forward, I don't know how much time we have, but let me just ask you something about the credit, people's when you guys run credit and what they look for in specific individuals. 2-part question per se, right? The first one is if a person has, and the only reason I'm going to ask this is because my sister-in-law called me yesterday and asked me about it, and they wanted to send my niece down here, and I don't like her very much because she takes a lot of my mother's time, so I don't get to talk to my mom a lot. But if you have, let's say, 3 negative or 3 late payments, right? Let's say, I think she said 4 months ago, They were like 26. Her payments were like $26 on her credit card, but she was like 3 months. You know, she completely forgot about the credit card because
Yeah.
they were low,
Yep.
but they were
Uh-huh.
3 months behind. Right? There's the first problem. How can somebody, if you needed to qualify, let's say John Doe, and he's got three late payments on his credit card, how do you, or on his credit, how do you fix that to get them qualified? How can they remove that off of their credit? And second, if they are a couple, right, a husband and wife, what are the chances of qualifying for any type of loan at that point?
Okay. Again, Edwin, excellent question. As far as the late payments, okay, I'm going to give you a quick crash course on what we do when we do see late payments. There's two things. If the late payment is older than 2 years, we may consider it. We have to see the relationship you have prior with banks, and we have to see the rest of your credit profile. But if you have late payments older than 2 years, we still may be able to pre-approve you for anywhere in between 20 to 70,000, which our usual is 50 to 150,000. In fact, we actually just got a client 177. Sometimes we go over. But the late payments, getting them removed, I'm very transparent. Julie knows that. It's very difficult and it takes a lot of time. Okay. The
Right.
absolute worst case scenario and really best case is after 7 years, they drop. They just disappear. They won't. Okay. You can go through a credit repair program, but it's credit repairs. It's difficult. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's very hard.
So you
It's
get a lot
very
of
hard.
people who have these huge payments. I guess that's the other thing. Help me out here, Julie. Like what, four, five, six
4 or
hundred
5.
dollars?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even two or three late payments at the or mortgage payments that are late, and it goes on your credit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so my sister-in-law, $26, big deal. But do you guys consider? Are you guys equal across the border, or do you guys consider the type of late payments that we're dealing with here, like a car payment versus I forgot my $26 a month payment?
Yeah. So, by the way, I want to clarify something. I personally, not that I don't care, but I'm not the judge of that. Remember, when it comes to qualifying through credit, we're talking about the business loans and business credit cards. That's coming directly from the bureaus. So Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. And I'm not looking at it. I know what to look for because the bank is looking at it. So I just need to know what the bank is looking for. So the bank is the one looking at the credits. And I'm going to tell you something about the banks. And it's unfortunate. They don't care if it's $1 or $100,000. All they see is a red dot that says late payment. And guess
Mm-hmm.
what happens when they see that? Goes into a separate underwriting. Very unlikely that you get access to capital, especially if it's younger than 2 years.
Very good. That's why
Okay.
everybody needs to know that, because it doesn't matter if you got one late payment, five late payments. That's what they need to know, because people have the misconception that
Yep.
no matter how small, how big, if you got
No.
that red dot is going to follow you for, what do you say, 5, 7 years?
7 years, it falls off on its own. If you're lucky and you have a very good credit repair specialist, they may be able to get it removed for you.
There you
Yeah.
go.
But yeah, credit repair is tough. It's
Yeah.
tough. I have a good friend of mine who has a credit repair company, and he's usually able to remove a lot of things, but to get everything removed is very difficult. Very difficult. Okay.
Very
That
good.
being said, another misconception is collections. Oh, but I paid off my collections in full. Well, it still says collections with zero owed. And guess what it says right next to zero? Collections.
Yeah.
So it's still a derogatory mark. It still technically disqualifies you. Something else that you mentioned was, what if your the wife, or let's say in my case where I'm able to help people is, let's say your wife, family member, business partner. Since we're doing this under a business, this is why I'm able to help so many people. You can actually utilize somebody else's credit, and it's not a co-signer. The banks are looking for a personal guarantor. So you can open a business. Let's say for you example, let's say you add your wife. Let's say somehow your credit got messed up or whatever, and your wife has excellent credit. You add your wife to the business, and we actually would utilize your wife's credit. Oh, but now my wife's credit is going to have that on her report. No, everything shows up under the business. Nothing shows
Mm-hmm.
up on your personal report. So you're actually able to utilize someone else's credit score without visually affecting them. Like banks won't know that she has, let's say, debt because it's in the business. Same way that I hide it through my personal, my LLCs, it won't be showing up on her personal.
And
So
see, I'm
you
glad you
could,
said that. I'm glad you said that because a lot of people, I myself, I own another business on the side, but a lot of people that do own businesses, they want to scale their business. So let's say, for example, I own a limousine company, right? I own one car, and I want to attach four more cars. And this goes for everybody here that are thinking of scaling, right? And you want to add four more cars. What happens is they don't understand that you can actually do this by going that route as well and not having to worry about how much you have to work to collect this money to add one or two more cars when you can actually follow that also route in order to scale out your business. So you
yep,
have ways of funding your business and looking to scale and grow your business, not necessarily one way, but 10 other different ways of doing it as well.
yep, yep. Absolutely. The more you know, the more routes you have to get to where you want to get to.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was
I
headed, where was I? I
I
got
think
distracted. I'm easily distracted.
I think let's go back and refocus on how to get the lending, how to get the
Okay.
business funding.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, I
So
just wanted to
yes,
make sure everybody got, the whole 411 because everybody has a different story. So I wanted to make sure they
yeah.
got
No
the whole
worries.
enchilada.
Yeah.
No, no, great. Absolutely great questions, Edwin. Thank you for those. So yeah, I had finished off on what the banks were looking for credit wise. Now let's move into that next scenario of, hey, I want to get access to anywhere from 50 to 150,000. What are the next steps? I qualify. My credit's good. Now you want to follow the right strategies and steps. And this is where kind of the nitty gritty stuff and the strategy really comes in. This is where the years of experience have benefited us. Okay. The first thing you want to do is build relationships with these banks. Okay. You can't just kind of, like I said in the beginning, you can't say, okay, my credit's good. I'm going to show up to Chase and apply for a business credit card. They're going to give me $50,000. No, absolutely not. In fact, the worst thing that you can do is apply for a business credit card without having a checking account with that specific bank first. And it goes a little further than that. You want to wait a certain amount of time before you even apply for a credit card with them. And you want to have some sort of history and relationship with that bank. What does that mean? You want to season the account, at least deposit, I don't know, $1,000, $3,000 in it, the very minimal, at least something like that, so that they can see that you're not desperate for money. Oh, this guy's had $1,000, $2,000 sitting in this account for 2 weeks and he hasn't even touched it. He's clearly not desperate for money. Boom. We got a green flag that's checked up there. Usually when you open accounts, they're going to ask you to apply for a credit card right then and there. If you try this on your own, which I don't recommend you just go out and try this, they're very likely that you're going to get denied on the spot or get a very low limit. Okay. Because getting $2,000, $3,000 approved on a card is you just burned a bridge. It's very hard on that end to then look for credit limit increases or apply for another credit card and get a large amount. Okay. When you're opening these business checking accounts, the information that you're putting on them is very, very crucial. Okay. Believe it or not, if you put that you are a real estate investor or a real estate investing company, you're immediately putting yourself in a high risk category. Okay.
Mm.
Keep it general. Keep it general. You can even just put wholesale, especially if you're doing wholesale, you're wholesaling. You want to keep the category very, very general. You don't want to tie yourself to a certain industry when it comes to banking accounts because you're going to make it harder for yourself to get access to capital. Okay. I know exactly what industry they lend the most money to, but those are things that, I can't give away all the golden nuggets. Um, Secondary to that is going to be timing. Okay. Once you've actually waited the correct amount of time and you're ready to go apply,
Is that you?
no, no,
Okay.
might be Marcella's not muted.
Oh yeah, got it. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, no worries. So, yeah, so essentially what you want to do now is get into the actual application process. Very big, crucial moment as well. Okay, I don't just do this with one bank. Okay, because in reality, I mean, I can't just get $150,000 with one bank. There's three main banks that I use that give me access to the most capital, and they're actually really good banks. They're big name banks in the United States. I keep mentioning Chase. Chase is one of them. Okay. The goal here is to apply for these credit cards in a strategic order because they each look at different bureaus. So if you apply for X bank and they pull from TransUnion and Y bank pulls from Equifax, none of the banks know that you just applied for credit. When a
Mm,
bank sees that you're applying for credit, you're lowering your odds to get access to capital. So you apply at different banks at different times so that you can get the most amount of capital possible. Okay. Now, when you're actually filling out these applications, they're going to start asking you for numbers. A lot of people put $0 because it's a new business. That's incorrect. That's not what they're asking. Obviously, they know that you don't make money. It's a brand new business. They want to know what you're projecting to make. What do you think you can make in a year? How
mm,
much do you think you need to spend in a month? Okay. That's the numbers that you want to put on that. You want to put your projection of this company because I can't ask for $50,000 if I'm saying that I'm making zero. Okay. There's very specific numbers that you put on that application that will get you the most amount of capital. You can't just put that you want to make, $2 million on there because they said, well, this business has been open for a year. Like, I'm going to need more questions than that. There's certain numbers that you put that won't trigger them to ask more questions and they deem it reasonable and they usually approve you for higher limits with those numbers. Also, information that it took a very long time to discover. Okay. But yes, something to keep in mind. You don't want to put zero. You want to put the numbers that you're planning on making on these applications. Okay. And honestly, that's pretty much it. That's something that my team does with you. Optimize the credit, help you open the accounts. Sometimes once you've applied for the credit cards, they go pending. We need to get them approved as soon as possible so that the other banks don't see the hard inquiries. We teach you exactly what to say on the phones to get through to their underwriting team and not only get the card approved on the spot, but make sure we get the highest limit as well.
Awesome. Jose, let me ask you one question. For the people who just joined the PACE community, right? Sub two Gator,
Uh-huh.
and I'm thinking about myself right now because I almost made that mistake. Oh, literally almost made that mistake, but I knew better because, like I said, I own a business on the other business on the side, right?
Uh-huh.
For somebody who's just starting this right now, and they tell you, hey, you gotta go set up a tax account, and then you gotta go set up an LLC, and then you gotta go open up a business account before you go start investing. And you open up, let's say, a business account with Chase, and they made the mistake by taking the offer from the person that opened up the account for them and apply for that credit card. And let's just say they didn't get approved. And I'm going with the fact that they didn't get approved because you said if you do it alone, you're probably going to get denied, or maybe
Yep.
a small. If you do get approved, it's a small amount, right?
Yep.
For somebody who didn't get approved, what what are the odds that that could be fixed for them?
If they didn't get approved, you can wait and go again. Likelihood the reason you didn't get approved is timing. You didn't properly optimize your credit. You said, "Oh, I've got a 720 score. I'm good to go." You didn't check your debt. You didn't check your hard inquiries, and you didn't go through
Right.
the right steps. Um, I would have to really, Edwin. What I do is an extremely tailored process. Every single case is different, and that's why we do what we do because we make sure that we're getting excellence for everybody. I can't tell you a one answer to fix for everyone because everyone's situation is different. Something that I can say
Right.
just broad stroke to cover that question would be either wait, I'd say 3 months, 6 months, or you can just open a new LLC. Because remember, it can be done with a brand new LLC, and now you have new history with a new
mhm.
company with that bank.
But then you would have to start from zero all over again.
When you say start from zero, what do you mean?
Open up your LLC, open up your business account, and then have to sit there and wait to do the process about applying
I
for a
I
business name,
I get
right?
that. I get that done in 2 weeks. I
Oh
get that done
Lord.
in 2 weeks. Yeah,
I
you
hope
can too. It's
everybody
it's
here is
easy.
learning and picking up.
Yeah, that's easy.
That's why
You can do
that's
it in
why
two
he's good,
weeks.
guys. That's why he's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. Yeah.
I hope everybody here is taking note and learning from this guy. This is why we have him here. As a matter of fact, go get
Thank you.
another cigar on our account.
I'm right here. Don't worry. I got it. It's lit. It's keeping me here relaxed.
Very
All
good,
right,
very
so
good.
we talked about what the banks are looking for. If you, I'm just going to do a quick recap, and then he told you he just discussed how to, get your personal, I'm sorry, your business credit started. You also wanted to talk about like why you should be funding this through your business and not your personal. I mean, do you want to
Right.
get into that? Or before we even go, does anybody else have any questions like with the steps or um anything like that?
Yeah, raise your hand, say something, people. I'm just trying to
Everyone's
cover
trying to
as
keep it.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to cover what most, the original, what people mostly go through. But if you have questions, I mean, raise your hand, say something in the chat, put something out there. Let us know.
How can we see? This is Lori. Good evening, everybody.
Hi,
Lori,
Hey,
Lori.
Lori,
hello,
how are you?
Lori.
Hey,
Where
Georgia
you,
girl here. Um,
Georgia?
yeah, so if we want to know what our business credit score is, how do we find that out?
Why do you want to know your business credit score?
I was just curious. I know my personal credit score, and I'm like, well, I don't know. I wouldn't even know how to tell what it was for a business.
So remember, the key thing, and I'll explain, you can do it through Experian. Experian has a business credit profile as well. There's one more. I'm having a brain fart right now on what it's called, and I believe Equifax does it as well. But there's certain specific bureaus like Duns and Bradstreet does it as well that you can check your business credit. But you want to remember the misconception that I said earlier is they're always looking at your personal credit. The main priority should be your personal credit score. Personal credit score gets you in the door. Business credit gets you access to maybe more capital on the long run or access to standardized loans and lines of credit. But the initial thing they're going to look at, even on hard money, people think that, oh, hard money, I can have a 400 score. Yeah, you can. They're going to charge you 10 points and a 30% rate.
Right,
You
right.
need personal credit. You always need personal credit. The main concern and priority should always be having your personal credit up to par. Unless if you are making millions of dollars and you have millions of dollars worth of assets in real estate, equity on businesses, and maybe Roth IRA accounts with another millions of dollars that you can show PFS, which is a personal financial statement, they're going to look at your personal credit. Okay, until
And
you get into the heavy $1 million, then you get into a different ball game. They don't even know what a FICO is.
So, what is the lower end of personal credit that's still considered good? Like I used to have like an 820, but then I got some hit with some credit cards that I did a transfer to, and then I've
Yep.
paid it off, but it did lower my score. It's probably like 760 now.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's still pretty good. I'm gonna give you an example, and you are actually like 80% of my clients. Everyone has really good credit. They're just overutilized on their credit usage because they're using their personal credit cards for business, right? That's why you want to keep
Mhm.
it on the business side. I did the same thing. This is where we get creative, okay? We can actually lower your personal debt utilizing personal loans to get you access to business funds at 0%. So two things happen there. You save loads of money on interest because you're not paying 29% credit card interest, and you've now cleared and boosted your credit score. People ask me, yeah, but Jose, you told me you can't have personal loan debt. That's the magic of this. There's a certain window and time frame that personal loans report on your actual credit profile. Usually it's about 30 days. So what do? I look at your file, I go in and do all my crazy magic stuff, and I say, okay, all your credit cards report on the second. I'm gonna apply for this personal loan the day before. It usually won't reflect until or even be inputted until the next day, giving you now a 30-day window until that actually reports on your file. So I use the personal loan to pay off all your personal credit cards. Your credit shoots up the next day. I apply for all of the business funds and I use the business funds to pay off your personal loan. Boom. That disappears, goes into your business at 0% interest. The credit scores I've seen are as low as 600. They don't have late payments. They don't have derogatory marks. They have the right age. They have good credit limits. They just had too much debt. That's a problem that I can solve.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, my problem was I had a business credit card that I hadn't paid off from a flip that I ended up not being able to flip, and I turned it into a pad split. So then I had the debt still because I couldn't pay it off from selling it. So that's where my debt increased because I paid off the business credit card by transferring it to my personal because I couldn't get I couldn't get a higher balance transfer for business.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, so that was my last resort because it was 0% interest.
Yeah.
So until I could reroute again. So
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and in that case, with what you had, you did the best moves. You at least saved on the interest, but you went a little backwards. Now we can
yes,
try and help you move it back the other way.
yes, thank you. I appreciate your
Yeah,
input. Thank you so much.
of course, absolutely.
Any other
Any
questions?
any other questions? I think we're almost. What do we got here? A couple of minutes left. Yep.
Yeah. Do you lend everywhere?
Anywhere in the United States. As far as you're talking about, like hard money through the family office or business funding.
Business funding.
Yeah, business funding is anywhere in the U.S. Anywhere that there's a Chase, American Express, Truist, Bank of America, you're good to go. I can even do I've used other banks before, but I have very strong intel on those banks that I just mentioned.
Okay, what about hard money?
Same, anywhere in the U.S. It gets a little trickier outside of Florida. It may take a little longer. I can usually fund deals very, very, very fast. Outside of Florida, we got to underwrite a little more and do a little bit of snooping around.
Okay, I'm going to be in touch because I am now heading into the step of needing a DSCR loan.
Okay.
So I'll definitely be in touch.
Yeah, 100%. I'd love to connect you with the DSCR, with our DSCR guy.
Thank you.
And you said
Hello.
you do Georgia. It's just a little more snooping around. Is that what you said?
Georgia, yeah. I mean, and honestly, Georgia is very, very common as well. It's not much snooping around. Georgia, we can move pretty fast as well.
And the income for the rental income, is that considered on a long-term rental, not on a mid-term rental income?
Yeah, they're going to underwrite it as a standard long term. So they're I can try and pull strings. Show us the deal. Let's see what we got. But usually they want to remember these are investors. These are multi-millionaires. They want their safest and their most traditional results. They want to know best case scenario. You know what I'm saying?
With
Go
I
ahead.
have something to say. With the DSCR, they do something called 1007. They appraise the value of the area. So the appraiser do two appraisers, appraise the value of the house, and then they appraise how much is the rent is. If you don't have a contract in place, and that's how they qualify you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mina.
You're very welcome.
Hey, I was going to ask, when it comes to debt ratio, student loans, how do you look at that?
Student loans, they're a little friendlier. It gets tricky with student loans. Even late, because I've seen late payments with student loans. They're like their own monster. Yeah, student loans can be tricky. I would have to see your file.
Okay.
Jose, this is Yolanda. I may have missed the initial introduction, and I think I did. I came in with the hard money and the DSCR. But give me a snapshot of what your business offers. I'm looking at the PDF that's shared here in the chat, and I see that you help folks, even new business owners, to get 50 to 150,000 in business credit at zero interest. Can you tell me a little bit about that and your services?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna do my quick elevator pitch because we're running out of time here. But
Okay.
this is my elevator pitch. I help brand new and established businesses get access to anywhere in between $50,000 to $150,000 at 0% interest in as little as 2 to 4 weeks. I don't need 2 years worth of tax returns. I don't need bank statements, and I don't need 2 years worth of age of your business. All I need is a decent personal credit score. If you think that can help you out, I'd love to see how I can help. So how does that work? We're doing that through revolving business lines of credit. That is a fancy name for a business credit card. We're getting very high approval odds and very high limit on these business credit cards, anywhere from $10,000 to even $50,000 on a single card. An example is myself. I became a partner here in the company, starting off as a client. I was doing wholesale real estate. What I really wanted to do was fix and flip, and I said, why don't I just skip the wholesale and look for money to do the flip? I found Christian DePaz, the CEO of the company, and I got $134,000 for a business that was 7 months old and no history in that business. I had a 748 credit score and got access to all that capital. Chase alone gave me $43,000 on my first credit card ever in my business.
Nice.
Yep.
So guys, I put the PDF in there. Just scan it and, he'll contact you. I see Bert has a question. Hey, Bert, thanks for coming.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thanks to Edwin because I forgot about it. He reminded me.
Oh boy,
Thank you,
Bert.
Edwin. Yeah.
I'll be seeing you tomorrow, buddy.
We got it. Hey, Jose, quick question on that. That's what you call credit card stacking, right?
It's similar, very similar, but it is not.
What's the difference? What's the difference?
Okay, credit card stacking, it's literally what the name says. They're just stacking all kinds of credit cards. It's not necessarily a tailored process for the individual. They're just kind of throwing a catch-all net on personal and business credit cards and getting about 10 to 15 credit cards in a year-long process. So they're just getting a personal credit card for 10 grand, 4 grand, 6 grand, business for 6, 10, 8, and they have to wait 6 months, go for another round, and they wait about a year to maybe get you about $100. I do the same thing in 2 to 4 weeks with maybe 100,000, like 4 or 5 credit cards, all business, 0% interest. Yeah.
Okay. And what kind of percentage do you charge for that?
It depends. On average, we charge anywhere from 7 to I've seen even 8% of whatever we get you access to.
Okay. So you get me $200,000 access, 100,000 to anywhere at 7% of that.
Correct. One-time fee.
Is that paid after you give me the access to all this money?
Hey, absolutely. Absolutely. So it's going to be 7% performance fee. So that's when I get you access to 100,000. It's not always going to be exactly 100,000. For example, myself was 134, a very random number. It's whatever we're getting approved for. So yes, you would pay 7% on that 100,000 and it comes out of those business credit cards at 0%. So you're not even paying that out of pocket.
And that's a year to pay the credit card?
12 to 18 months. And I can actually show you a way to extend that for another year and get you access to more capital. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That's good. That's interesting.
Yep.
And if you can do that in 7 months, I mean, as little as 50 or 100,000, whatever it might be, 25,000, whatever.
2 to 4 weeks. Yeah.
2 to 4 weeks. Wow.
2 to 4 weeks. Yep.
Impressive. That's impressive.
Yep.
Oh, good. Awesome. So yeah, Julie put your info there, so I'll be contacting you.
Yeah, she should have. I think there's a link to book on my calendar. I'll be doing free calls. Any questions that you have, anything that I can provide value for, I'd love to get on the call and talk a little more about your specific case to see how it is that I can help you out.
Absolutely. Okay, cool.
Thank you, Bert.
Thanks, man. Thank you, Julie.
You're welcome, love. Sandra, did he address your questions? Was it helpful?
In fact, Julie, what we attached there was the funding application, which, by the way, guys, it takes 2 minutes. It does not affect your credit, but it lets me get a quick look at your credit through Experian to see if I'm able to help you out. Something else that I'm going to drop here is actually my calendar. But please, I need you to let me know that you came from this event and from Julie, okay? That way I know who it is that I'm talking to because I want to do a special discount for all of Julie's community, okay?
Excellent.
What are we calling this event?
The Julie special. The Julie special.
The Julie special.
There you go.
No,
Dropping Jules. That's what we're
dropping
doing.
Jules, chilling with Jules, whatever you want to call it.
Having a cigar with Jules.
I
Having a
just
cigar
wish,
with Jose.
I know, cigar with Jose. I wish I had wine here instead of water, but
Oof, that'd be
I
nice.
feel bad.
I know.
I got ice cold water in this one too.
Yeah. Jose, Carlissa, which link are you looking for? The calendar link, or are you looking for the link?
I'm gonna attach my calendar link here now. Again, guys, I'm gonna drop an extra nugget completely for free for you guys for all of the people coming from Julie's community. So if you do book a call directly through the calendar without first filling out the application, please let me know that you're from Julie's community. Okay.
Hey, Jose, I wanted to ask you something because it came up, and I know we were asking some questions, and since we got some time, I want to throw this out there. Charles earlier, because I did this as well with my other business. Charles has set up their Brad and Broad Street. uh,
Dun and
Dun and
Bradstreet.
Bradstreet. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Um, does that help people with businesses already established to apply for or for you to help them apply for credit, and kind of give them a little bit more higher limit, or help them get them a little higher limit
It
if
could,
their
yeah,
business?
absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. The business credit side is a boost. It can definitely
Right.
be a boost, but it's not the say all. The first thing they're looking at is personal credit. But yes, the better your business credit, which by the way, once you apply for all these cards and you're in good standing with the relationships, your business credit will go up. This is your
Exactly.
introduction to business credit. Yes, your business credit helps you get access to more capital. Later on down the
Okay.
line, when you have an established business, 2 years of tax returns, 2 years of age, you can now get much larger lines of credit. I'm talking 250,000 to $5 million,
Yeah. Yep.
which is the goal. My goal is to be with everyone that I work with on the long term. I'm not here for one hit. I wanna build a relationship with you and help you and watch you grow your business.
Beautiful.
Amazing. Yeah.
Guys, I hope you all got some really,
Yeah.
really good information from Jose. I mean, it was amazing. Flowers to my guy here for all that knowledge and education.
But the flowers
Please,
would be for me. I mean, what the heck?
you
Yeah.
get them you get them every day, Julie.
Oh, that's
Stop,
true. That's
stop,
true.
stop it. You get them every day, girl. Give the
Yeah.
guy some flowers, all
No, I
right?
mean, yeah. Guys, what do you think? I mean, how was Jose? I mean, it was amazing. I mean, just
It
breaking
was
it
so
down.
Amazing.
helpful. Yes,
Yeah.
amazing. Hmm.
How do we get
He
the
is
the application? I saw something about scanning.
The PDF, I'll drop it again. Ellie, can you drop the PDF?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So do we get the replay? It's going to be on my YouTube channel. So if you're little plug, if you're not following me on my channel, it's Julie Colette. So it will be on my YouTube channel. It's going to be raw. Like I don't edit anything. So it will be there. Give me a day or two. It's probably not going to be up till Saturday. So
Julie, do you have your actual links? You want
it's
to
in the
attach the
QR.
link?
It's in the QR code. It's in the QR code.
Okay, can they click it there as well, just in
They can
case?
click it or scan. Yeah, I can. I don't know if I have it ready. I mean,
In
like
case if
scanned.
anyone, yeah, if anyone's on the phone or something, we can just drop it there in the chat so they have the actual link there as well. Or no,
Anyway,
because they have the PDF. They have the
they have the
PDF.
PDF. They have the
Yeah,
PDF. So the PDF's
guys,
here. Just
put it
click
on
on
your
that.
laptop. Grab your phones. We're smart. We can figure it out. Scan it.
Yeah.
Let's see how I can help you out or just provide any value that I can. Okay.
Yeah, and we're gonna bring him back. I mean, to talk about specific stuff. Just to drop on the. Anybody have any questions? I mean, so Lilia here, Rachel, Joy. Anybody else? Francis,
guys, if you
anything?
guys
Adela?
got questions, raise your hands.
And
Come
and
on
he's
out.
very helpful. I mean, he is very responsive. Any questions I've had, he's super duper, and he's right here, guy. Well, not for the Georgia guy, gals and girls, but Florida, yeah, we rock.
You
Guys,
So
come
guys
on
need
to
a
Florida.
flexible way as well. So, if you need him, book a calendar link with him, and he will be more than happy to reply to you guys and get you on the phone and talk to you. But
Yeah,
get him
here's
while
his link.
he's here live. Get him while he's here, because you know what? It just doesn't get any better than this. The guy's knowledgeable. He understands his area. This is where he's an expert at it. So if you have questions, bounce it off of him now while you have him here, because you're only going to get the recording, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Jay,
guys. Let me
have a
know.
question.
sorry.
Okay. So
I don't
actually, I
mean to
was
interrupt
talking to my Chase banker about, getting a business loan or whatever. So could I potentially go the next step with Chase? And if I'm not happy with the results, bring you in after that to bump up the access to maybe a bigger loan?
Are you talking about a standard business loan through Chase or business credit cards?
Standard business loan. Yeah.
Standard business loan gets a little more complicated. I could get the team on that with you, but really at that point, what you need to have is you need to show the numbers. Okay, so usually what they want to see is you need to be profitable, number one, at least for 2 years, and they're going to give you anywhere from like 30 to 40% of your profits, whatever you're asking, unless if it's attached to real estate and something else that they can collateralize for the most part. But when it comes to standard loans, the bread, the how do they say, the bread is in the pudding. Like you gotta have it for real, for real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
So,
awesome. Yeah, I'm just thinking maybe, I love everything that you said today. It's super helpful, very interesting. I'm just trying to think of a hybrid way.
Yeah.
You know,
It's funny. It's funny you
right
say
now.
hybrid because people say, "Oh, I only got 200,000 on my loan. I need more capital." And I always ask them, "Okay, what credit cards do you have with Chase?" "Oh, none." Well, I mean, you're missing out on potential another 50 to 100,000 just with Chase.
mhm.
I have clients that I get $100,000 just with Chase at 0% through a credit card.
Oh, and you know what? I meant to say something. It was about the somebody had asked about the student loans.
The student
Uh-huh.
loans, I think that's Rose. I think she left. Maybe. Yeah, she left. But it'll all be on the
Okay.
YouTube. Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, for the student loan part, if you're applying for a loan, regardless of what it is, or depending if you're going through, if you're paying it personally, then that becomes a problem. But if you're going through a program, like whatever program they have right now, where they're debating with the government about trying to eliminate
Sally
how many.
Mae. Sally Mae is one of
Right.
the government. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
Right. They will, all you need from them is a letter saying that they're in charge of your student loan and you're only paying, I don't know, whatever the membership is, and that completely comes off your application. Like
Mhm.
legit.
For standard loans on business credit cards or credit cards and lines of credit, they don't
That's
care. They don't
yeah, that's
consider
a
when you're
different
doing a
story.
loan. Yeah, correct. That's
Yeah.
the beauty of the credit card applications. They're very simple. They don't allow for their it's black and white. There's no gray. So you either put the wrong thing or you put the right thing. They're not gonna ask questions. They're not gonna need more info. You either put what works for them or you put what didn't work for them, and you get approved or denied.
There you
That's
go.
cool. That's
Perfect.
cool. Bert,
Yeah,
you got a question? How much time do you got?
Yes. Well, Jose,
Jose.
tell me
we're good. I got another like 10 minutes.
real quick, Jose. I have Chase, and I applied for a Chase credit card. They gave me one for about
Okay.
25,000, but it's not.
Okay.
It's not like a credit line. It's it's just a regular credit card that they gave me for about
Okay.
25. Now they had a hard pull on that. When you do your thing, do you do a soft pull or a hard pull?
What do you mean when I do my thing? Like when
Yeah,
I get you access to the business credit cards?
exactly. Do you do a
No,
hard pull
no.
on the credit or soft pull on the credit?
Remember, it's not me. It's going to be Chase, and they will
Well,
do a hard pull. Now,
okay.
what people don't know is that you cannot have business inquiries reflecting on your personal credit score. So you have to call the bureau and say, "Hey, this is a hard inquiry for a business credit card, which is not supposed to be reflecting on my personal," and they should remove it for you. 90% of the
Really?
time,
Okay.
they'll remove
Okay,
it
good
for
to
you.
know.
So it's something you can call Experian
Excellent.
and tell them. Yep.
Excellent, because it does show up on my credit card because I opened the account under a business and I applied for that credit card under my business as well. And then when I looked
Yep.
at my
How
Experian,
long have you had that Chase account?
a little bit over a month ago,
Okay, nice. How much money do you have sitting in that account?
it's just a business
More or
account, and
less. I mean, I don't.
no, like 5,000.
Okay, and what was
Rotate.
your personal
It's
credit score when
rotating.
you applied?
730, 740.
Yeah, there you go. Nice. Yeah, 25 is not a bad amount. It's a decent amount.
No, it's fine, but it's not 0% interest for 12 months, and that's the
What a
problem.
card. You didn't get the business in cash?
No, I got an ink card. It's an ink card, Chase ink card.
Oh, yeah, I mean, maybe there's the other one. Yeah, there's Ink Cash and Ink Unlimited. Those
Hmm.
both are 0% for 12 months.
Okay, yeah, not mine.
Yeah.
Not mine.
Yeah, you gotta,
Unfortunately.
it's very
So,
strategic. So it's harder to
right.
get higher limits on the 0% interest cards because obviously the banks never want to lose, right?
Yeah,
Right.
So
yeah.
that's where it gets difficult. Getting access to that amount is 0%. Yeah, I was gonna say
Mhm.
25 is not a bad amount at all.
No,
We
it's
we
not.
should
But I mean, just wait for the right time opportunity to use it because you just want to
yeah,
use it, and then you got to pay. Time goes by so quick, and then you find yourself paying for the credit card, and you can't use the funds.
yep, absolutely.
Now, I know you
Yep.
talked about the DCR loans.
Uh-huh.
You guys do the DSR loans as well?
The DSCR, we do it through, that's not through the family office. That will be with a contact that we have within our network, that we
So
utilize
like
them, somebody that we
in a
trust.
an affiliate.
Hold on
What
1
I'm
second.
sorry, go ahead.
what was that?
Is that through like a broker affiliate?
I can't say broker because I'm not a broker. It would be more an affiliate. Yeah.
Hey, okay, that's fine. Now,
Yeah.
do you know if they do anything in Puerto Rico?
That's a great question. Great
I
question.
can find out for you tomorrow.
Mina
Sorry,
says
what
he'll
was
have
that?
that money for you tomorrow.
Oh,
No, I'll find out for him tomorrow. Yes, I'll find
okay.
out.
Oh, there you go.
I have a license. I have an
Awesome.
MLS
There you
number.
go.
And I
All right,
do a
look,
lot of
Mina's got the DSCR. There he is.
Hey, listen, if you have it, I'll drop my blink. Give me a card. Give me a holler.
Okay, I'll find out tomorrow.
Why
All
why
right,
Puerto
perfect.
Rico? Why Puerto Rico, Bert? What are you doing in PR?
I've got an investor over there that's got several single family homes, and he wants to create one DCR loans on that.
Is that Pedro?
No,
No? Oh, he's
no.
Pedro's big in the sub two community. I'm from Puerto Rico. I'm Puerto Rican. That's
Oh, are
why I
you?
asked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. I met him at Squad Up.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
So,
Pedro is a
contact.
big good contact to have in Puerto Rico as well.
Okay, good.
Pedro Gomez. I can attach it there, but very good contact to have in Puerto Rico if you're investing in Puerto Rico.
Listen, I applied already submitted my application to you.
Uh-huh.
Nowhere there does it say it was because of Julie's special. But anyways, my info's on there. Go ahead and give me a call and we'll touch bases.
Pedro Cardona. You can look him up in the sub two registry. Pedro Cardona, if you're investing in Puerto Rico.
Perfect. No, but that's good to know. Maybe he's got info on the DCR loans over there.
Yeah, he does deals directly with Jerry Norton. Like he's very well connected up there, and he's
Okay.
very knowledgeable in the industry over there.
And he
Perfect.
is, yes, I can second that. Pedro is an owners club too, so for
He's
sure.
also
yeah,
an
all
owners
right.
club. Yep.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Lori?
Do we have one more? Okay, Lori?
So real quick, I have 2 Chase credit cards. One I paid off, the other one I'm about to pay off. It has like 5,000 left on it. They were 0%, and then they eventually become no longer, they start charging you interest.
Mhm.
So if I do an application, but I don't need the money yet, is that the way to just do an application first and then be ready when I need the money for, say, a down payment on a property that I find, and then get a hard money loan, not a DSR loan yet, but am I
The
making
main thing,
sense?
yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying.
Okay.
When do I wait to start the timer? How can I start the timer later until I have the deal, right?
Right. Get the application, get qualified, but then don't
Yep.
start the timer yet until you have the property.
So credit optimization and relationship building. Those are the 2 main priorities you want to be ready to actually get funded. Funding is on your call. It doesn't have to be in 2 to 4 weeks. I have clients that are ready to go and they've been waiting 3 months for a deal to come in. Applications take 1 day. I can get you all that capital in 1 to 2 days. Okay, so then that's, hey, I found the deal. I'm ready to go. Our credit is optimized and relationship with the banks have already been built. Applications can happen ASAP on your call.
So if I've been with Chase for about 2 years with 2 different checking accounts with them, with 2 different LLCs, credit cards with each one, then I've developed a relationship that's good with them.
Absolutely.
So-
Now there's a caveat to that. Relationships can be good and bad. Yes, you have 2 years, but you need to be in good standing with them. You cannot have
Yes.
overdraft accounts on your
Right.
checking side. You cannot have missed any payments on your business credit cards. And ideally, you don't want to have had extremely high limits for a long time, making only minimum payments. Chase is very smart. And they see all of that, and that could affect the results. That's why I love getting a brand new business, because I take all the guesswork out of it. I know what I'm getting into.
That's awesome.
Okay. Well, one of them is a new business as of maybe 6 months ago. So that's good.
Yeah. I'd love to get on a call and take a deeper look to see what we can do.
Okay.
Which brings me to the original question from before, when they said it would be a wise choice that if somebody had that situation, just close it and start all over again fresh, right? Is that smart? No.
Nope. They know.
Okay.
They know.
Oh, they know.
Okay.
Okay.
They'll call, hey, let me ask you a question. Why'd you close this account in 2016 on May 4th at 10:33 p.m. when you had an overdraft on it? They know.
I mean, not that you're leaving in bad standards, right? But
No,
if
I'm
you already have
joking.
that-
But I'm just saying they do know, though. I'm joking. Yeah.
Yeah. like if you had like $100 left in the account, I don't know why 100, but you had 100 left, and you close the account with $100 left, and came back like 2 weeks later and opened up a business account under another name, right? And just wanted to start all over again because now you understand the process for these new people that came in for the
Yeah.
first time, and they just want to do it the right way, the way you're teaching it. That will probably be a problem for them.
If you're in good standing, just leave the account open and open a new one. They don't care how many accounts you have, as long as you're all in good standing. They understand that we're serial entrepreneurs and have multiple businesses.
Oh, see, I
Yeah.
didn't know that part.
Yep. Yep. Just you got to be in good standing, no debt and no bad history. That's it.
So if you
Okay.
closed if I had another business account with them with a partner who closed the account, and then I asked to reopen it with just me on it because she was no longer a partner. It was always in good standing, but reopened, and then I recently closed it because I closed the LLC. Is that, all kind of neutral information?
Are you asking? So you had an LLC with a partner. You opened up that business bank account with that partner. Were you both under that bank account, or only one of you was under the bank account?
Both of us were on it, and then she closed it when she took her name off of our LLC and didn't ask me. So I asked to reopen it with just my name.
That's fine.
So
Yeah,
that's
that's
no
fine.
biggie. Okay.
No, at all. That's fine.
Awesome.
Yep.
Oh, this is
All right,
awesome.
guys.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank
guys,
you.
let's give it up for Jose. Thank you so much for being
My
here.
guy.
Really appreciate you. Yeah. And this is
Yeah.
what I want to continue to bring speakers like this so we can share information and you just help us in our community. So if you know someone that wants to speak on a Tuesday or Thursday when I'm not partying.
Yeah.
Thank you
And
so
that's when
much,
I'm going to
everyone.
speak when you have the
Hello.
party going.
What's that?
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Jose, I
we're-
put
we're-
my
Friday
info
night.
on the chat.
Yes, we did see it. Thank you, Bert. Friday line
me see.
dancing. We got line dancing roundup. If you guys are here.
And then we'll
Oh, yeah?
bring Jose back again.
Cool.
A follow
Yes,
up.
we would love to have you back again, Jose, if you would
Yeah,
be so kind.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I'll
And
see
for
you guys at the
who are
meetup
still
too if
here,
you're going on the 30th.
Yeah, for those
Yes,
of you,
we-
Florida, we're wholesalers, we have a really good lineup of people, so please make sure you're there.
Very,
Thank you,
very good friend of
Julie.
you guys are still here in the chat. Please reach out to Jose if you
Yes.
need help building your credit, scaling up your business, trying to get business credit, whatever it is that you think that you need, any type of help you need, book that calendar link with Jose. Reach out to the guy. As you can tell, he's extremely knowledgeable. So pick his brain. That's why we invited him here, so he can kind of tell you guys, the pros and the cons and which way to go about it, and what him and his team does to help you scale. So reach out to him, okay?
Thank you so much, Edwin. Julie, thank you so much for having me here. All of you guys, thank you for listening to me for more than an hour. That's incredible. I didn't think everybody
He's
would
like an
listen to me
hour.
babble for that long.
He's like an hour. I'm like, yeah, don't worry. We
We
need
should
you.
we should eliminate 5 minutes of that just for the cigar thing. So that's okay. We still love it.
I know, and we're jealous. I mean, we're gonna hold it against you that we weren't there.
I can't wait to relight it. I'm excited.
Good night,
Jose,
everybody.
thank you for coming, my
Thank
friend.
you. Good
Thank
night.
you all.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
one.
Absolutely,
Good
guys.
night. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you. How do you?